This is the Milo Sweet Podcast, where you learn to be resourceful, find quick and clever ways to overcome life's challenges. And guess what? Achieve more with less. Use what you have to get where you're trying to go. Learn to do difficult. And for excuses, get rid of them. I mean, all of them. They're dead to me. Let's go. Did you know that you could impact my podcast by liking, subscribe, reviewing, and sharing? And also donating? You would totally make my day. Come on, make my dreams come true. How to teach your kids gratitude. I think this is an important topic. If you don't have kids, I still think it's important to look at how you interact with others throughout life. So I would say the reason I think it is important is because gratitude to me shows, it's like what's not said. It shows me what's not said. When you're really grateful for something and it doesn't pan out your way, or it doesn't look the best, or it's just not lining up exactly with what you want, and how you behave and respond to that really shows a lot. Even if there's no response, like you could be yelling or throwing something and you don't, it really says a lot. So, first I would say, let's talk about how people teach. A lot of times they instruct their kids to do something. They set a standard or expectation, and then they expect their kids to do it. And then especially when they're in public, in front of people, if they kind of fall short of that expectation, like, you need to be grateful when I give X, Y, and Z, or if I take you out to eat. And in public, if the kids just fall short, sometimes parents, really respond differently than if they're at home or they lose it. And I think that it's important for you to realize that whatever your expectation is, that you stay the same, that how you respond in your home is how you respond out. Now, you might have a little bit of different levels because you're in public, I get that, but you really want to stay true to the core value. So if it's important when you're at home, it's important when you're in public. I've seen parents completely just ignore it like it's not happening. I say it's really whatever is going to get the result for your kid to learn. So every kid learns differently. So there's times where I think it's okay to not give attention to something, because the attention in itself could mean that the kid is getting their reward. Kids love attention, no matter for what it's for. They love it. It could be for good, bad. They love it. So really making sure that your standard is the same in the house and out of the house. Now, here's the biggest key. If I told you one tip, it would be to demonstrate gratitude. When you don't, you order food and you get it home and you realize, oh man, they didn't make it the way I want. Or you drop something and a glass cracks. And how do you respond? Or your computer is taking forever to download or upload or reload or load. How do you respond to that? I think that's more important. First, because kids naturally, they're sponges and they model what they see. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your home. They're going to model whatever they see anywhere. So it's important that you're setting the standard for what you want to see. If, someone wants to argue with you, do you have to engage? Can you switch? Or maybe there's a way you're saying things and it comes off like you're not grateful. They give you one of those drawings. Mom, can you put this on the fridge? You're like, well, all the other drawings, they look the same. Doesn't this look much better than what I was doing a year ago? No, it doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, it doesn't. It's like, how do you respond to that? Or maybe they did something, they were trying to do something nice. If you've never had your kid cook for you and the first time they start, buckle up, because, it's not going to be, well, unless you don't cook at all, just not going to be exactly what you expect. Even if it's a delicious meal, it might not be tailored to your liking. There's a growth curve there and a learning opportunity for your kid and an opportunity for you to be grateful. So I think model that behavior. How are you showing up grateful in your life with your kids? Now, the other thing that I think that sometimes I don't actually focus on the child that needs to be grateful. I allow the interactions with the siblings to show them gratitude. So if a child was ungrateful and maybe another kid was playing with them, and the kid that is ungrateful is just not treating, their sibling correctly, I would allow the sibling to opt out and say why they don't want to play. And what's crucial here is I could just say, you guys need to share, you need to play, blah, blah, blah. What's crucial here is a little bit of clarity about their behavior and why the sibling feels that way goes a long way. You ever have those relationships with siblings that you're like, there's things you better not talk about it because it's going to bring up like years of, it's just, I think you have the opportunity to not have that here. So you have the opportunity to allow your kids to communicate, to identify their personality, their behavior, their habits, and to get real-time feedback. Now, if you're fostering a grateful attitude, you also want to foster an opportunity for kids to compliment each other, for kids to support each other, so that there is some balance in the feedback. It's not just like, I'm opting out because playing with you sucks. So I would actually kind of give them a little bit of guidance when they're first telling how they feel. It's like, oh, I see that you don't want to play anymore. Why is that? Well, it's just, sometimes it doesn't come out easy. And then they might say, well, when I play with them, they take every toy out of my hand. It doesn't matter if they were playing with it or not, they just grab it. And after a while, I just don't like that. Oh, okay. Well, she doesn't want to play with you. How does that make you feel? Well, I feel like she's being a real you-know-what. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. She might say, it depends on the age, because sometimes if it's a young kid, they won't even, they're like, what? Or it's just tears. And it's like, well, it looks like you're crying because you're sad. Are you sad? If they don't know what sad is. Sometimes people cry when they're sad. Or I might say, you might be crying because you don't want to listen. Do you want to listen? And younger kids, I would say around 2 or 3, they'll get that. They'll understand listening or being sad, or they might just need a moment too. Sometimes these discussions, if they're young, will take much longer, but don't grow weary. They're super beneficial when you're consistent at them, because they'll just come to you. I don't like when this happens. And then the other person will say, I'm sad when she doesn't like that. Well, we still want to play together. What do we do? So it teaches them how to work through it. So as you're guiding them through that, then I say, okay, well, do you guys still want to play together? Should you take a break? Maybe you should, you want to switch games? I just kind of help brainstorm. I don't really give any clear instruction. I allow them to kind of figure it out, because I believe one of the biggest gifts you can give your kids is helping them to understand themselves. I think that's a huge gift. And a lot of times we smother our kids and we force them to just believe everything we believe. And it's great to expose them to it, especially like core values. It's absolutely beautiful. However, how they apply it. So maybe for me, if I'm frustrated with my kids, I want to be left alone. But maybe, or my siblings, but maybe they actually are energized playing again and switching gears. It's a beautiful thing once they are giving a little bit of guidance and they're set up to do it on their own. So after you kind of walk them through that, one time isn't enough. Disclaimer, one time isn't enough. Second, it's just being consistent at spotting the behavior. You don't even have to have an argument. You can just spot, like just a quick glance. You can see a face. You can see like silence when you walk up. You can see silence. You can hear it. Like it just all of a sudden chatter, and then you walk up and it's like nothing. So you're like, you can start to, it doesn't always mean that there's a disagreement or someone needs to display gratitude, sometimes they're hiding things from mommy, right? Have to do that a little bit, right? No, just kidding. So the idea is that you're teaching them gratitude by showing them how their behavior affects other people. So in life, we don't always see how our behavior affects people. And when we get access to that, it's humbling. Even if it's a good thing, it's still humbling. So giving them access to that immediately and giving them the tools and skills to identify their behavior, have discussion about their behavior, oh gosh, it fosters gratitude. One, because now they understand how you feel. Sometimes a child will say, Mom, I'm sad. Now I know what you felt like with this. Did you just want to eat chips all day? I'm like, yeah, I did. I think I did. Chips and chocolate. Absolutely. Might have fried something that day. Or they'll say, I think I want to go for a run because I'm sad. So that's not immediate, but they'll start to connect. They'll start to connect their behavior and start to notice results and how they treat each other. And you don't have to do it over time. You'll still talk to them about it. You'll still facilitate, but gone are the days of breaking up things. Now, as you introduce new kids and as your kids grow up, there might be a new cycle of like something they have to work through because kids learn in layers. So it's not going to be like right now I'm working through one of those now, but as you're consistent, a couple weeks, a month from now, it'll be a non-factor just because of the consistency of giving them more tools to say, hey, you're feeling this way when that person does that. How do you feel now that you know how she feels? And then we work through it. After that, usually there's some resolve. It doesn't mean that it's perfect. Don't confuse gratitude with perfection. It's not perfect. So to recap, we're going to look at your behavior first. What are you demonstrating? Are you complaining a lot? Do you walk around moping? I'm not saying you can't teach gratitude. I don't know how beneficial it would be. And then the second thing is, if they have siblings, cousins, how do they interact with you, with their siblings? And if they don't have siblings, I would say, how do they interact with you? But I would allow siblings to speak up. And the younger, the better. Older kids really don't like when younger kids say, I don't like that you pushed me or tried to trip me. Oh, but when the young kid realizes they have power, it is a game changer because there becomes respect no matter what the age is. They respect each other. So remember, and it's not overnight. It's consistency. So the more you notice the behavior and give them opportunities to express and talk about, move on. At first it's daunting, but afterwards it's pretty good. So, and then if I had to say a third thing, then I would instruct them on behavior, like what is gratitude, teaching them how to be grateful, asking them what they're grateful for. We try to do daily, but usually it's, a couple days a week. For sure, it's mostly a daily habit, but some weeks are tough. So I don't want you to get stuck with perfection here, but we just ask what we're grateful for, and we challenge each other to say new things, because sometimes it's just easy to say the same thing. Water, food, which are all things to be grateful for, by the way. I'm not just saying that, but challenge your brain to see new things to be grateful for. It gives you more perspective. So I would say doing something daily could help. It could just be around the dinner table or on the way to school, riding in the car, bedtime. Just recap, what did you like about the day? Just thinking about the good things, what went well. It really helps because it's so easy to focus on the negative. All right, that is all. If you want to share ways that you are demonstrating gratefulness in your life with your kids, your family, your friends, you can send me a voice message, anchor.fm/MillerSweetPodcast. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I get to homeschool my kids. It is the best thing, and I look forward to it every day. If you want that for your life, go to www.howtohomeschoolfromtheheart.com, www.howtohomeschoolfromtheheart.com. one of today's sponsors. Let's get into the show. All right, that's another episode in the books. Hello? I said it's over. Why are you still listening? Like, seriously, the episode is over. If you're still listening right now, you know what? You're probably a chronic procrastinator. Guess what? I'm still listening to. Come on, for real, seriously. We gotta go do something productive. No, like, for real. No, for real. Okay, you can keep listening.